I have shot this video 3 times and I cannot get it to a point where I like it, so hopefully this is the one, this is the cut that's gonna make it. But today I wanted to talk about how and why YouTuber businesses are so successful and why they make so much money so fast compared to like every other business you've ever seen. It's kind of crazy.
I am excited to announce actual candy and our first product, which is Sour Strips, which is gonna be the best.
I finally got around to making merch and I'm so excited about it.
This is something that I'm extremely proud of.
So the first thing I think is important to note is that typically when a business wants to sell you something, they do a few things. The first is that they'll advertise, TV ads, Instagram ads, something like that. And you might not want this specific thing, but you might have been looking for something similar, and we've all seen this before. You know, you Google lawn chair, and then all of a sudden you start getting all these ads on Instagram for different types of chairs and brands and whatever, but you might not necessarily want a specific one. You were just interested and looked up that type of thing, and these different brands are trying to reach out to you saying, buy mine, and this is why you should buy from us instead of these other companies. And the other companies are doing the same thing, saying, buy from us, not this company. And that's like a typical way that companies reach out and acquire customers. They acquire people by showing them what value they can bring over somebody else. And this is why it's a little bit different for YouTubers. So YouTubers, content creators, however you want to say it, they basically don't have to do this step of trying to explain why they are better than company B or C. You don't really have YouTubers saying like, buy me over, this other YouTuber, because the reason that you, the audience, are buying from them isn't because they have the best product or they have the coolest product or, they have the best tasting product, whatever it is. It's not because it's the best in its class. A big reason that you're actually buying from them is because you already trust them. You already have trusted them with your time. If you're watching their videos, you're watching them over somebody else. It's opportunity cost. Might seem kind of weird to phrase it that way, but you're watching their videos versus you could be watching somebody else's videos. So you've already chosen to invest your time into them. So when they release a product, let's say it's going to be a sweatshirt. Let's do a merch drop. They don't have to have the highest quality sweatshirt or the best designs or anything like that. A lot of the times, their audience just wants to buy from them to support them, and that's the only reason they want to buy. So they don't really have to do the marketing. They don't really have to do the customer acquisition. Their market, their user base is already there. It's just the people who watch their videos. So in terms of like a business sense, half the work is already done. Don't get me wrong, they've put the work in up front, gathering this audience, but when you release a sweatshirt to 300,000 of your Instagram followers, a lot of people are gonna buy it, enough that you're at least gonna break even, if not make a ton of money off of this. And a lot of content creators actually take this one step further, which is where things start to get really interesting. So there are basically 2 routes that a YouTuber or a content creator takes if they are trying to start some sort of business. The first is what I would call like a short-term business, something like a merch drop, where it's not a long-term business, it's not like a product, it's not like anything like that. It's more of just merch representing themselves. And there's the other side of it, which is more of like an actual business. A good example is Peter McKinnon has his coffee brand. So does Emma Chamberlain. Max Tuning has Sour Strips. Like there's people who have made real long-term businesses that can exist outside of their branding. But no matter what route these people take, these content creators, there's actually a step-by-step like path that I've kind of figured out that they take. And once I explain it to you, you'll be like, wow, I have definitely seen that. And this path is basically like guaranteed success. If you have a big enough audience, you're going to make a ton of money if you follow these steps. The first step is announcement and hype. And that can mean anything from just telling your audience, I have something in the works, like I have something really cool, like I want to make sure it's done right. It could be like, kind of hinting at things like something's really cool coming on this day. Make sure you're subscribed, make sure your notifications are on, because this day something really cool is going to be dropping. They don't know what it is yet, but they already want to buy it, which is absolutely insane in the world of business. Like these people don't know what the product is yet, but they want to buy it because because the content creator is selling it to them. So build hype, step number 1. Step number 2 is the actual release. It might seem like it kind of makes sense, but if you build hype first, you're gonna have people who are on the edge of their seats to buy whatever you're releasing, whatever it may be. There's going to be at least a number of people who want to buy it right away because they're so hyped and they've been waiting for this day. So step number 2 is you actually release the product. And this is where the 2 paths kind of diverge. The path number 1, where it's like a simple merch drop, something like that, you might just do it again. You hype up, release, hype up, release, hype up, release. And that's all it is. Time after time, new merch comes in, new merch comes in, and you're basically just repeating the cycle, making a ton of money every time you do it, and putting out some really cool merch into the world, and maybe you'll get more visibility from it, those kind of things. But it's basically 2 steps to make a ton of money. Hype, release, hype, release. And of course, this is, going off the fact that you already have a large enough following, which takes a ton of work in itself, but we're kind of assuming the people we're talking about are already at a large audience size, so just go with that. Okay, so far we have path number 1, build hype, drop, build hype, drop, build hype, and you basically just do this over and over again, make a ton of money, and you can keep releasing cool merch or one-off things, collaborations with brands, whatever it is, it's gonna be like this. It's not a long-term reoccurring investment or a long-term reoccurring revenue source. Path number 2 also does hype and a drop, but this is just path number 1. Path number 2 diverges again, and then from here, what they're gonna do is start to do small time sales. What this means is they hype it up, they release it, and now they have small time sales going on the website. They're making a bunch of money, probably tens of thousands of dollars, and this is for more of like a product. Let's go with like Emma Chamberlain's coffee. She hyped it up, she drops it, and then she makes small time sales where, she's probably making tens of thousands of dollars a month on this thing, maybe more. Small time sales. Now, what happens from here? It's really easy. You just go boom, and now you're in small stores. So what this means, once you have that established presence of an online store, you have sales figures, you have good sales figures for a lot of these content creators, you approach small time mom and pop shops. Small time mom and pop shops like privately owned 7-Elevens, privately owned, grocery stores, convenience stores, those kind of things. And if you have a big enough audience, people in your audience are going to own these stores who are going to want to carry it for you again because they trust you, you're the brand, and they want to support you. So now you're in small time stores. The next step is big stores. That says big stores, I promise. And a great example of this is Max Tuning, who's doing Sour Strips, which if you don't know, is like a sour candy company. Very different than a lot of people have ever done on YouTube, but he followed this exact path. He went online sales, from online sales to smaller stores like privately owned 7-Elevens, those kind of things. Now he's getting into HEBs, which are like full-time grocery stores, like big box chain grocery stores down here in Texas. He's in like 50 of them already, and it's been less than a year, which is mind-blowing for somebody who's doing a business. So a big takeaway from this is content creators have this established audience that trusts them. A huge part of business that people don't understand, half the battle, if not more, is getting people who want to buy your product, who trust your products. Like, that's why when you think of brands like Yeti, there's this huge established relationship with them that even if you've never bought from them, you trust them because you know that a lot of other people trust them. If you're a content creator, you have an audience who already trusts you with their time. They already trust you to make really cool content, to put out quality stuff. So when you release a product, why would they have any other reason to believe it's not going to be a quality, outstanding product? It doesn't matter what it is, from a sweatshirt to, makeup to sour candy, whatever it is, people are going to buy it because they trust the content creator, which is why influencer marketing is such a big deal and works so well. You're using people who have trust and who have an audience that follow them for no other reason than it's them. And I'm not saying you're going to trust some random content creator. These have to be people that already have an audience, and the audience has to be like following them or subscribe to them or whatever for long enough to trust them. But I mean, once you get big enough, you're going to have a big enough audience where you could release a t-shirt, sell it for $30 and make tens of thousands of dollars in a week because people are going to buy it. End of the story. That's no questions asked what's going to happen. And this is just so interesting to me. I love business. I went to school. My minor was entrepreneurship. Major was computer science, which is why a lot of my videos are based around tech. But business is just something that I love so much, and knowing like the science that goes into acquiring customers, and knowing that like you could just reach out to an influencer who has a trusted audience of 500,000 people and make a ton of money right away on your investment. It's just crazy. You couldn't do that 20 years ago. You couldn't reach out to an influencer and have them promote a product to their audience who trust them and get a ton of sales on it. It just didn't exist. And that's why you get people who are able to release products and make a full-time living off of these things. And especially if you're in some sort of specialized field in the content that you make, like fishing or makeup, like the people who are going to be following you are going to be very specialized in that field. So if you release something that's along those same lines, it's just going to sell like crazy. People are going to want to buy it. And I don't think people understand the real, like the power, the real power these content creators have. People call them influencers. It's kind of like a derogatory term nowadays, but they really do have the power to influence people's buying decisions, especially when they think that they're supporting that creator directly, which is why merch selling is such a great avenue and a place that a lot of content creators go once they start getting to a decent sized following, because it works. It makes money. It makes people want to follow you even more because now they feel attached to you. It's just great for everybody involved. If you guys found this interesting, let me know. I've been thinking about doing some sort of series where like I go and I get YouTuber things that they've made, that they've promoted or, you know, made businesses out of, and like testing them and trying them out. So I might do that, but yeah, I just had to make a quick video about why these YouTuber brands are so powerful and there's so much influence behind them that I think people miss out on a lot. So thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.